Yeah, so this is like a sort of demo of the JSON generator, JSON resume generator that I call JResume that I made. So basically, it takes in a JSON file as input. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. And the reason why you'd want to use this instead of say like Word is because like with Word the content is mixed in with the style. So like if you don't like the style of the current resume, right? Let's say you created a resume. You can't easily completely change the theme of the resume. You have to rearrange all of that stuff. Whereas with this now, or the plan rather, is to allow users to pass in the same JSON file that they always use, and basically add the ability to use different themes. For example, there's only one theme right now, but yeah. So for example, a new theme would change the background to black, or like have the work experience to the side here, or plenty of other stuff. But the gist of what I'm saying is that the user will not have to change any of the resume content or the input JSON content. They basically just need to be like, alright, JResume, this is the input file and I want you to change or use the theme forest, and then it will use the same resume information as before, but just output a web resume that uses the forest theme that doesn't exist yet. So yeah, that's basically it. So right now, let me see. So we have a little resume for John Doe. It's an example resume that I made. So you can see all of his personal details. The personal object, name, email, address. That's all the stuff that you will see right here. Let's change his name. Oops. To Bob. Right? And then this is like the IDE I used to develop JResume. So if I just run this, it will basically regenerate the resume with the new content, with the new information. So now his name is changed to Bob. Alright? And you can do a whole heap of other stuff, like it has sections for skills that you can see right here, Java, and Java, C++, Android. And based on the competence of each skill, because each skill has a name and a competence, the competence determines the amount of stars or the number of stars displayed under the skill. So if I were to say Java Advanced, Bob is an advanced Java programmer. Right? Oops. And let's rerun this. Like the user will not be using this windowed program here. He'll basically use it via the command line. So now his rating for Java has increased. And let's look at the work experience section. So the theme basically lists out every job that Bob has been to, or worked at rather. This is example limited. It has this position in this gray box and the duration that he was with the company for. In fact, I think I made a mistake, it's August 19, 1997 to August 19, 1990. That's the problem in the JSON input. So let's change it to 2001. And if you go back to the JSON file now, this is like job work, this job work array. An array is like a list of objects. Like it's a list of job objects, and job objects have different attributes like company, position, summary. So basically it helps to like explain what he did at the company, how long he was there, some highlights about his tenure there, etc., etc. And the keywords section for the job object, basically, like it allows you to say what kind of tools you used while working. So Bob used Java and C++ while working at Example Limited as a software engineer. So the program is supposed to be done now, so it will change this to like 2001. Yeah, change to 2001. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it. I mean, basically the same for voluntary work experience. There's a section for personal projects, like, you know, hobby stuff that he did in his own free time. The name, the URL of that project, assuming that it's a programming project or like a photography thing, that the person who's reading the resume can access using the internet. And then there's a description of the project, and then the highlights of what it does. The such and such and such and such and such. And then basically the same keyword section. All the keywords are in blue. And there's also this cool thing, right? So suppose the person is trying to print it to a PDF, right? And you know when you're trying to print something, like like a certain section of the resume might get cut off by the page break or the end of a page. So you might want to, for example, let's say the page of the PDF or the printed copy cuts off in the middle of volunteer work experience. In that case, you'd obviously want to bring volunteer work experience down to the next page. So what you can do is basically say Example Limited. You can say num following line breaks, let's say 400, just to make the difference apparent in this recording. So we rerun it. This is like the source code for the program. Let me check. No following line breaks. Okay, so right here now there should be like 400 new lines between Example Limited 2 and volunteer work experience. So let's refresh the page and see if it worked. And it did work. And due to the 400 new lines, it's all the way down here. So yeah, it kind of allows the user to customize the layout a bit, but not entirely. You can also change the order of some of the items. Let's delete this, and let's say we want projects come first. Let's move this. Cut. Paste. Oops. Yeah. And then, so the next time I run the program, projects should be where Bob software engineer is right now. So okay, let me reset the zoom on this. Yeah, so the order of the objects in the JSON file, the JavaScript object notation file, determines the order of the sections in the generated resume. And that's really basically it, you know, because like you have personal details, projects that the person has worked on, skills and their proficiency, work experience, volunteer work experience, highlights of each job, a description of each job, the position, the time that the person worked at that job, and the keywords or the skills utilized while doing that job. So yeah, that's basically it.